But let's start with AJ Klein. AJ Klein re-signed with the Buffalo Bills this morning, on a 1-year deal. What are your thoughts?
As is the phrase of the show, right? For the last month, it does not
Yes.
preclude them from making that a priority position in the draft. But no, it's another one of those signings, kind of like Shaq Lawson, right? Or kind of
Mm-hmm.
along those lines, where it's good depth. It's player that has experience in the system. It's a player that has played well at times when put into meaningful snaps, right? I mean, Shaq Lawson, same way. We've seen AJ Klein have his moments as well when he's had to be on the field. Now, what's nice about this signing for the Bills is we know, at least traditionally, they've only played 2 linebackers in their base defense, but it does now open up the door with Sean McDermott potentially changing things up a bit
Mm-hmm.
on this defense. It gives him just that added bit of flexibility. And I'm not saying that it necessarily knocks down linebacker all that much as far
No.
as a need in the draft, but it does help, right? If the board doesn't fall the way they need it to. It's again another one of those situations where Brandon Beane's not going to necessarily force something if he doesn't want to force it in the
Yeah.
draft. And so I think it's solid move for both sides.
And you got some bodies there competing too, because right before the AJ Klein news sort of leaked, you had Tyrell Dotson come out and was sort of pumping up himself and Terrell Bernard, saying, "Hey, Terrell, let's get ready and let's get going." It just sort of seemed like your typical like pump up tweet. And then like an hour later, the news breaks that AJ Klein's coming back. So maybe a little drama, a little competition in that Buffalo Bills linebacker room between Tyrell Dodson, Terrell Bernard, AJ Klein. It doesn't hurt to have those bodies there. It doesn't hurt to have that experience there, even if he's more of just like a player coach in training camp. Like, say we draft Jack Campbell. You have a guy in AJ Klein who's played this position for the Buffalo Bills and Sean McDermott's defense for, I don't know, upwards of 6 years now, too, because he was with him in Carolina as well. So you have someone there to sort of show him the ropes, help him with the nuances and understanding of the playbook and the defense and all the different things that Sean McDermott expects. And if the Buffalo Bills maybe choose to pass on a linebacker, the one thing I said today, and I said it kind of jokingly, but also kind of serious, Sean McDermott had a quality defense in 2017, the year the Buffalo Bills snuck into the wild card playoff spot. His middle linebacker that year was Preston Brown.
Mm-hmm.
And the Buffalo Bills were able to have a decent defense with a shoddy defensive line and Preston Brown. And I feel like Sean McDermott was a little bit more involved that year. We saw Sean McDermott a couple of times in 2017 get frustrated with Leslie Frazier and take over play calling. And that was a relatively successful defense. Now you have AJ Klein, who I would say he's kind of comparable to Preston Brown. Is it ideal? No. Could the Buffalo Bills per se survive a season with AJ Klein as their middle linebacker? I think so. Things get murky, as the season progresses, because he's an older player and injuries happen, etc. Like if Matt Milano goes down, you no longer have like Tremaine Edmonds to pick up the slack. It's like AJ Klein and Terrell Bernard or Tyrell Dodson and AJ. So things get a little bit murkier when one of those linebackers goes down. We've seen it before. I'm sure the Buffalo Bills will add a linebacker at some point because, as you said, it does not preclude them. But I don't know. It's a signing. And it doesn't hurt. Dean Marlowe should be next because, again, it doesn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt. And you remember like the first year Bean came in or like maybe the second, it might've been the first or second year. And it was like, it was the offensive line. And it was like, let's just throw as many bodies into the mix as possible for competition and just totally like overhaul it. It kind of feels like, hey, adding one more name to the competition, even if it's like a run of the mill type of player, is still going to squeeze every last bit of like competitiveness, like you mentioned, and every last bit of like getting any kind of competitive advantage you can from that position, adding another guy into the mix for the competition. Because whether it's when it's 2 guys or if it's 3 or 4 guys, I really think that the result of a competition of 3 or 4 guys is at least going to give you some confidence that the guy that's on the field is going to be serviceable. So
catch the Air Raid Hour every Monday at 9 p.m. on the Cover One Sports Network.